The move to knight c3 is very popular, especially at club level. It's a very straightforward approach for white. Next they will move the dark square bishop to f4 or g5, and the knight on c3 also helps to carry out the break e4 in the center. Anyway, that's white's dream. On the downside, the knight blocks white's own c-pawn from advancing, and that could be a long-term disadvantage. So all in all, it quickly leads to very interesting play. We go knight f6. And here in recent years, the interest has mostly circled around the move bishop f4, the so-called Yobava variation. I'll come to that in a minute, but let's first check the old line bishop g5, the so-called Verasov. I've looked at it many times and played it several times as black. In Denmark, there's a grandmaster who has played the Verasov throughout his career, and I've faced him many times with black. Okay, he hasn't played it that many times against me, but every time I've been forced to look at it, and I'm pretty sure that black has good play in all lines. Maybe black is already better, so let's try to see what happens. We just protect the knight, and here the most played move is knight f3. But perhaps more natural would be to try to carry out this important central break. White can try that in two different ways. First, there's f3, and then e4, next move. That's the idea. We respond with a very cunning move, c6, inviting white to play e4. If white refrains and plays something like queen d2, then black gets good play with the move b5. Now it's not that funny for white to castle long. It would be very risky. And after something like h3, we play h6, challenging the bishop. If it just retreats, I suggest we play e5, opening up the position. Next we can move the dark square bishop and castle short with a good game. So after h6, white probably takes our knight. And here I really fancy a new move to take back with the pawn. It might look a little weird at first to damage your own pawn structure, but in fact it opens the path for our dark square bishop, and after something like e4, we take, and here we play a6, a really important move to protect b5, because I want to push c5 also. After, let's say, knight f3, bishop d6, black is ready to castle. Next, we can probably go c5, and if white responds with d5, then black will get the nice e5 square for his pieces. You can already see that black tries to play on the dark squares in this line. So after f3, c6, e4 is the most natural. We take and play e5. That's the point, the first point. Again, we try to play on the dark squares. White can take the pawn. It looks strong, but we have a little surprise in store. Queen a5. A really nice move, pinning the e5 pawn. So if white takes on f6, we can take his bishop. Let's see, like this. White can take here, and we get this position. White is a pawn up, but black has fantastic play on the dark squares. He completely dominates them. Next he can castle, and white cannot say the same. White will have problems with his king for a long time, and black just has great play. So after queen a5, White's best move is probably to take on f6. We take back. And here you should know the following move. The most played move is the surprising e6. White tries to avoid that black gets complete control over the dark squares. And if you face a well-prepared Verso player, he will probably know the move e6, so it's necessary to see a little further than this. The basic idea for black is to always play for initiative. That's more important than material. So we go knight e5. White can take, we check back, and now knight f3. And here, a very, very nice move, bishop a3. It turns out the knight on c3 is actually quite vulnerable. If white takes the bishop, then the knight hangs. And already black has a very, very strong initiative, and it's hard for white to hold this position. A possible continuation is to take, white simplifies, protect b2, bishop e6. You can see black has a huge lead in development. And already lining up on the king side. h5. All this has been played in an email game, and the black won. We all know that email games are in fact computer games, so if one side wins, they really have a good position, and I'm sure you agree, black has a fantastic position here. Okay, the other way to try to achieve the e4 break is to play queen d3. Yeah, I want to chase the bishop again. It's always nice if we get this extra move. White can go to f4. The most natural is to go to h4. We come back to that. But white can go to f4. And here, although it looks risky, we have this nice strike with c5. It looks risky because white can play knight b5, and there's a huge threat here. But after the strong move c4, black is just fine. White has to go to d2. Of course, if white plays knight c7, we take it, and then we take white's queen. So we win a piece this way. And also, if the queen goes all the way back, this check is very disturbing because white has to withdraw the knight to c3 and just loses a lot of time. So after bishop f4, c5, knight b5, c4. White should play queen d2. And here we have knight e4. And again, the queen lacks good squares, so it has to prevent queen a5 check. So white has to give the check now. And it will lead to a queen exchange. And here, after the move b5 and a5, I really like black. Of course, white's position is pretty solid, but black has a lot of space on the queen side, and black has a small initiative in the ending, and definitely is for choice. So, queen d3, h6. White has to go to h4. That is also met by the strong move c5. White has tried different moves here. Castling long is extremely risky. We can just play c4, queen a5, and already black is ready to launch a strong attack with b5 and b4. While white's own attack is not started at all. After c5, white can also try the break in the center, the desired break. This leads to some forced play. We take and knight takes. And this check is rather disturbing. If white plays the most natural move c3, we simplify further. We take, queen takes, take, queen takes. And now, very nice idea, g5 and bishop g7. This is just good for black. We are ready to castle, and white is behind in development, especially on the king side, and black just has a very nice position. So after e4, take, check, the email solution is the surprising queen c3. It leads to an ending where I think black is slightly better, but white's position is probably holdable. But let's see a few more moves. Take, take, knight b5, threatening this check. d5, defense. White castles long, threatens to take on d4 with the rook. Be protected, and then c4. This looks very good for white. We cannot take en passant because the knight would be hanging, and we cannot move the knight because of knight c7 check. But fortunately, we instead of moving our knight, we can threaten white's knight. So something like this. And in some email games, white has played take, b4, threatening a2. And now very strong move, g5. This is extremely complicated, but fine for black. Take, take, knight c2, knight f6. This has been tested. I like black, but because of the bishops, and also I think these pawns are a little vulnerable. The knight is forced to stand on the bad square c2 to protect b4, and yeah. Especially the dark squared bishop is really nice. So I'll take black, but the position is a little complicated, of course. We should probably try to organize a castle. If we go back to the move c5, white can also take on c5. But here, a very strong move, e6, just protecting the center. Next, black is ready to take the c5 pawn. For instance, castle, knight takes, queen d4, bishop d7. Here, black has really good play. If white does nothing, then probably black will play a move like maybe rook c8 next. But it seems white can take on f6 and damage black's pawn structure, but we're not afraid of that. We take back and enter this ending with confidence. After e3, a6, black is just better because of the bishops. The rooks can be activated on c8 and g8, and later we can try to expand on the queen side with b5 and b4 and so on. Black is just much better. So if we go back to the starting position, we can kind of understand why knight f3 is the most played move. Also here I flick in h6. If white goes to f4, then I think as usual c5 is a very strong move. We're not afraid of knight b5 because of queen a5 check. You can see it. Check, and the knight looks silly. So white has to play e3. Now knight b5 is a real threat, but the little move a6 defends against that, and I think this is just good for black. Next we can play e6, bishop e7 and castle, and this is a case where the knight is awkward on c3, blocking the white c-pawn. So I think black is very comfortable. So after h6, the bishop should go to h4. But also here, we strike immediately with c5, and I think black has good play. It's hard for white to fight for the initiative. If white starts to play calm moves like e3, then we just go e6 with an easy game, bishop e7, castle, and so on. Later maybe b6 and bishop b7. So I can illustrate it here. Maybe something like this. And black is just very comfortable, while this knight is not. It's more or less always in the way. So after c5, white can take it. But here black has a really strong novelty. Black plays g5 and bishop g7 with great play. This was pointed out by Niels Grandelius in his Slav course. The black bishop is fantastic on g7. Black is ready to castle, and the c5 pawn is also hanging. Of course, you have to see a few moves further, because what if white takes on d5? We have to take back, and then black takes on b2. White is in terrible shape. Soon there'll be a check on c3 or a5, and black will castle, and the white king will never be safe, and white is just too far behind in development. This is fantastic for black. So this was more or less the Versov. So let's go back to the starting position of this chapter, because here white can also play bishop f4. This was made famous by the Georgian grandmaster and very original thinker Bador Yobava, who won several really impressive games against strong grandmasters with this setup. And of course it immediately became popular. Still, you see it now and then, even in top tournaments, but over the years, several good setups have been found for black, so there's no reason to be afraid of it. I suggest we go for the active c5, a very direct approach. Yobava always played e3 against this, just securing the center. But we have to address the more aggressive move e4. This was recommended by Hans Niemann in his Yobava course. The move is sharp, but don't worry, we can keep it under control. I think the best is to take the pawn with the knight to simplify a little. And here, white has to take the pawn back. In this position, the move knight d7 is interesting if you want a complicated game. But I think it's easier just to exchange queens and now play bishop d7. I think black is fine in the ending, and black has scored really well. However, Niemann analyzes it, and he tries to go pretty deep, and I think it makes sense to see what he is suggesting for white, because if you face a a player armed with his cores, then you might actually get into his final position. So let's see. Niemann goes bishop e3, e5, bishop c4, f5. See, black plays very active. That's why I like this ending for black. g3. Of course, white has had to prevent the pawns from advancing even further. Knight c6, knight e2, and black castles long. All looks very natural and easy to play for black. Next we can play bishop e7, and we have finished the development with a good game. But Niemann came up with the move h4. The idea is to exchange bishops on g5. If black plays bishop e7, then sometimes white can play bishop g5. Nevertheless, we do it. a3. Introducing this positional idea, and I prefer to prevent it by playing a5. And now bishop g5. All this you can find in the Niemann course, but I think the position is in balance. Probably black should go rook f8, take. And I think both sides have chances in this really unbalanced ending. The engines, of course, screams that it's equal, and it's hard to argue with the engines these days. But there's plenty of play in the position. Black has this idea to push f4, and also maybe to put the bishop here on c6. White can push b4 whenever he feels like it. So both sides have interesting plans. It will just be a great game, I think. Okay, we go back to c5 and see Jopava's move e3. Here I like to change the pawn structure at once. We take and play this interesting move, bishop g4. The normal move is just to play a6, but I like the forcing nature of the move bishop g4. It attacks white's queen, and white can either put his bishop in between or play f3. So let's see if white plays bishop e2. Then we take, queen takes, a6. It's really important to cover this square. This is a critical position, but it seems that black is doing really well. The only sharp attempt by white is to go for the move g4. If white plays more slow with knight f3, then after e6, castle, knight c6, black has a very good Caro-Kann exchange variation, because the light squared bishops have been exchanged, and furthermore, the knight on c3 is misplaced. Here black can just play bishop e7 and castle next, or play bishop d6, try to exchange the dark squared bishops as well. So white really has to go for the move g4, intending to push the knight back with g5. And we have to stop that and go h6. Long castle. h4. You can begin to imagine why this Jopava variation has been quite popular, because white plays some nice sharp attacking chess from the beginning. Fortunately, black has a very firm position here, and after knight c6, queen f3 to protect the rook and prepare to play g5. We just go on with our own play on the queen side, b5. Black has good chances, I think. Let's check the forced move g5. What happens? We take, exchange. And now this clever intermediate move. And if white moves the knight, then we get this excellent square in the center for our own knight, while the white knight on a4 is out of play and misplaced. So I think black has good play here. But of course, it's a pretty sharp position, but white doesn't really have an attack, and black has a sound position. So after bishop g4, the best move is probably to play f3. Then we just retreat, and the point of the play is that we have forced white to play f3. This is the knight square, and white has a little awkward piece constellation now, because the knight cannot go to f3. Let's see if white just continues to develop. Bishop d3 is a very natural move, but the problem arises after knight c6 and now knight b4, and we can exchange this really important light squared bishop. Without that bishop, it will be hard for white to make a serious attack. If white continues to play very active with the move g4, then we can just ignore it and play e6. g5 is not really a threat, because we can go to h5, or we can also go back to d8. And if white tries to keep building up, still we just ignore it, and white is soon running out of bullets, and we can always take on d3 when we feel like it. We have a very safe position. If white just castles, then we can see the positional consequences of the opening. We eliminate the bishop and just go on with our own play. Next we play bishop e7, and we castle with a good position. Already we have the bishops, and again the knight on c3 looks a little misplaced. So black is very comfortable. Jobava himself played a3, forcing the matters. Take and long castle. But in this position, Brandelius suggests just to play the very calm bishop e7, and if g4, then castle. The point can be seen if white continues to build up and play h4, then the clever move knight e8. This is black's idea. The knight can go to d6, where it stands really well, and later black will get really great counterplay on the queen side with the moves b5 and further b4, and I think black's attack will just be strongest, especially since the white pawn is on a3. This is what you call a hook. It means that if black manages to play b5 and b4, the position will be forced open, and that is to black's advantage. It will be easier to attack the white king if we can open some lines on the queen side. Also after bishop d7, white can also try the move g4. It's kind of a standard move. White could also start by playing queen d2. It will probably transpose, because we just go e6. We're not afraid of g5, because then we just go here, blocking the king side, attacking the white bishop, and yeah, this is safe for black. So white has to play a little more cautionary. Queen d2, knight c6, long castle, very typical play by white in the Yopava. And again, black has easy counter chances after rook c8, probably king b1, and then bishop b4. I like this, pinning the knight on c3 and preparing to play knight a5 and knight c4. I think black's position is easier to play because we get to some good squares very quickly, while it's much harder for white to get their attack going. So let's go back to bishop d7. White has another important option, that is to play knight b5. Of course, it threatens knight c7, and it also solves the problem with the misplaced knight on c3. That said, it also solves all black's problems, because we just take it and play knight c6. Here we threaten the very annoying move queen b6, so white should better play c3 to protect his center. And in this position, just e6. Next, we play bishop d6 with a very good version of a caro-can. Again, it's to black's advantage that there's no light squared bishop here on this passive square. After bishop d6, we can safely castle short, and later on we will get play on the queen side with a6 and b5 with a good position. So that was 2 knight c3. Really not that troublesome. I think very important is to remember that if white plays in the Versov, we just go knight bd7, and after the main move, knight f3, we come with a quick c5, which gives excellent play. Black has tried many other moves in practice, but this is just good for black. And if white plays the Yopava system, then I recommend this interesting idea with bishop g4. So with these weapons ready, you can be happy to face 2 knight c3. So that's it. See you in the next chapter.